iTestify is about testifying of what Jesus Christ has done and can do in each of our lives. Through testimony of people just like you and through study of His Word, our prayer is to encourage each follower of Christ to be a light in this world. So let your light shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew 5:16. Hello and welcome to iTestify. Today we have with us Kisha, and she is going to tell us about a ministry that she began and is leading out at Heritage Gardens. So welcome, Kisha.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. Well, first we'd like to ask you, what is Heritage Gardens?
So Heritage Gardens is a retirement home just down the street, actually. So it's local.
So it's a local ministry. And tell us, what led up to your starting this ministry at a retirement home?
Well, it was the summer of 2015, and I had just come back from my second year in college, which is in Tennessee. The second year of college, it was really a huge blessing because I just, God impressed upon me to just be more involved. And so there were a lot of opportunities to, reach out and be a part of that. And so, coming home for the summer, I just enjoyed the experience of service, and God just impressed upon me just, you liked it so much, why don't you continue doing it? And so I don't know how it came about for the actual Heritage Gardens, but I was just on my way home one day, and I stopped by the facility and I talked to the activities coordinator, and I said, do you guys have anything going on, like Saturday afternoons? And she said, no, typically we don't have a lot of activities going on here. And so I said, if I was willing to bring a few people, could we sing some songs with the residents here? And she said, yeah, that'd be fine. And so that's sort of how it came about. Yeah.
So it started off as a very simple activity, a service that you provided. Did you have any prior experience with retirees or?
I mean, there have been a lot of hospital ministries where you go singing from patient room to patient room. And also from church, we've done a few outreach ministries at other retirement homes. And so I've kind of been a part of that, but it wasn't like a regular thing. And so I was just thinking, what's something that not really easy, but something that I can do. And so, I prayed to God about it, and He just impressed upon me to take a visit to Heritage Gardens.
Wow. Yeah. Maybe not only something that you could do, but that others could do with you, that didn't take a certain skill set or maybe some prior training.
Definitely.
It's just basically a willingness.
Yeah, because, we pretty much just sing hymns. And there's a saying, like, if you can talk, you can sing. And so it's open to whoever wants to be willing, like what you said. And we also have instruments. They have a piano. I like to play the guitar, so that's fun. And a lot of people sometimes bring their own instruments too. So it's a great way to be involved with even just simple talents that you have.
Yeah. I've gone to Heritage Garden with you guys once, I think it was, and I think I saw a resident with the electric guitar.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
That was
So the
fun.
residents join in as well.
Yeah, they're very welcome to.
And he was just playing away, and it was so funny because I was like, I haven't heard some of these hymns played with the electric guitar, but it was
a nice little addition to it.
Yeah, and then he felt comfortable to do it with you guys as well.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was so funny how, to me, that was actually the first day when he brought his electric guitar. That was the first day I actually met him.
Oh, cool.
So he just, he just felt comfortable enough to bring out his own instrument. and jam out with us. And it was a huge blessing. And now from time to time, he'll come and bring his guitar out. And yeah, it's just another way to connect, you know. And that's like a big thing too that I've been learning through this experience is, you know, music, you know, it's a huge blessing from God.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, talking or doesn't really hit as hard to some people as music does.
Yeah.
And so God is definitely blessed through music ministry.
Take us through, say, just a day of going to Heritage Garden. So you go weekly, you said?
Yes, we do go weekly. Yeah, so we show up and we, you know, greet the residents, make rounds. And you know, I actually don't feel comfortable saying residents because after 3 years they become friends.
Yeah.
So, you know, you say hello to your friends, catch up on how their week's been.
That's nice.
And then we say a prayer, and then we just take song requests. And so there are some residents who have their personal favorites, and so we know which ones are coming up. And it's kind of cool because no matter how many times we sing the songs, they don't get tired of it. And I think it's because it can relate to any part of their life that they may be going through in a different way than another time that we sang the song. And so, so we take requests, and you know, we go through that, and just an hour of that, and then at the end we take prayer requests or praises, and then we say a quick prayer, and then we say goodbye until next time. I think an awesome part about the prayer time that I've learned is that, you know, week by week, you see prayers requested, and then you're able to see the prayers answered. And so it's been a huge blessing just being able to experience that with them.
You know, something else I remember seeing too is there was someone's birthday.
Yeah.
And I don't remember who it was, but I just thought that was so special that you guys remembered whose birthday it was, and that you guys sang happy birthday, you know, and then, you know, some other residents were like, hey, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
Sorry, your friends, sorry.
No,
Your friends were like, hey, like, it's my birthday, you know, next week or 2 weeks. And you're like, okay, well, we'll be back, you know. And so it's like something they have to look forward to. And, you know, there wasn't a cake or anything, but it was nice for them to be remembered. You're really excited about it.
Definitely. So. And the thing about, I mean, I feel going to different retirement homes and talking to my friends there, it's like they say that there's not a lot going on during the week. And so just having people who are willing to spend time with them, and it's just like all of us, you know, the fact that people would want to spend time, or just the energy and the effort people invest, you know, it makes a big difference, whether it's even just 1 hour a week. And I've seen that in their lives, and it's been really cool to be a part of that. But yeah.
I think it's interesting too, because, you know, they're in a place with other people that they don't know. They, you know, sometimes it's like, okay, they're stuck there. So I think it really makes such a difference for you to want to come and see them versus someone who's just there, or you work there, or you just live there. So I'll talk to you, but that gives them an importance, I guess, in their lives. And it's such an amazing way that you guys can relate to them, to show them God's love.
Yeah, you know, the residents there are typically on the older side.
Yeah.
And the volunteers, you know, we're a big range of people, but generally we're on the younger side.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to just see the spectrum of ages just come together and be able to share experiences on both sides, and just be able to grow together regardless of the age gap or age difference.
Yeah.
And so it's been a powerful aspect of the ministry for sure. And just as much as they enjoy our time with them, we just as much enjoy their time with us.
Yeah.
And so it's awesome because, I mean, consistency has been kind of a big key in the ministry. And it's really cool because sometimes, I mean, I can run late because a lot of things happen Sabbath afternoons.
Yeah.
But when I walk in, you know, you hear one of the people there just say, "Oh, here they come," and they're just waiting there for us, you know. And it just gets me even more excited and more enthused about going every week. And yeah.
Can you give us, share with us a few experiences?
Yeah.
I particularly want to hear about just a couple personal stories of the residents, the friends that you've made there. Is there anyone in particular? I know you told that story about the man with the electric guitar.
Electric guitar.
But any others that come to mind?
Yeah. One of them, after just recently actually, was able to get baptized.
Really?
And yeah, just from, okay, so back story.
Yes.
Yeah, so she had been coming regularly to the Sabbath afternoons, and from there, she was able to connect with one of the volunteers and coordinate or schedule some time during the week to do Bible studies. So in addition to the Sabbath afternoon singing time, one of the volunteers would come and study the Bible with her every week. And so after going through Bible studies, she made the decision to get baptized. And it was an awesome experience because she invited us over. She invited us to her baptism. And I remember sitting in the church in the front pew, and it was her turn to get baptized. And I don't know, it was just really emotional because it was just such a small thing, but just a small thing, singing with them every Saturday, just for an hour. But from that, God was able to reach her, and just being a small part of God's big plan was a huge blessing.
Yeah.
So it was amazing to be a part of that.
How long did it take for her, or how long were her Bible studies? Like
that, I'm not too sure. It was another one of the volunteers, but I know it was for a few months that they had been going, visiting her throughout the week.
Wow.
And just building that relationship through the Bible studies as well.
Yeah.
Do you know about how old she is?
That I'm not too sure.
You don't ask, huh?
No, don't ask. I was just thinking, because it's never too late to make a decision
Definitely.
for Christ if you have not yet.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, that's very true.
Bring to mind the thief on the cross.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you never know. I mean, what I find so fascinating is, you know, with the newfound light that she has and the love and the excitement that she has for the Bible. I mean, who knows who she can share it with? And even though it seems like, oh, she's just stuck there now, but like wherever we are in life, we have an opportunity.
It's true.
To
yeah.
share.
And she was telling me kind of after she got baptized, she was telling me how she's getting involved in just her community there at Heritage Gardens. And it's pretty special because there's another resident who just newly kind of moved in. And from time to time, I'll see her, bring her to the group on Saturday. So it's nice. It's like, you know, reach out to one, then that one reaches another.
Amen.
Yeah.
It's kind of what they did in Acts, you know. They reach, you know, by, I guess we say, teaching one, and you know, another will teach another, and then soon, you know, you have a bunch of people who all know the same thing, and just started from one person. It's amazing how God works through us to do that.
It's been a huge blessing.
Yeah.
And there's another resident that comes to mind who's been pretty special, at least to me and my family especially. He would come from week to week, and actually one of the residents there, she she invited him to church, a church Sabbath, a church program, and they both needed a ride. And so she approached me and was like, hey, do you think we could get a ride to church? And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Because she typically gets a ride from her sister. And so I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I dropped by on Sabbath morning, and we bring him to church. And then it was his first time at church.
Oh.
And so from that time, we exchanged numbers, and now he calls every Friday, and he's like, hey, are you going to church tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, can I come along? And I'm like, of course. So he comes along to church, and I think it's even been a bigger blessing. Like, that's enough. A bigger blessing, because I've been able to share it with my family. Because now, Sabbath, it's a little busy for me. I'm, either participating in one church or another. But now my parents are the ones who are bringing him to church. Aww. Yeah, and so it's been really cool to just share that with my family. Yeah. And we've been able to build a relationship with this certain resident. And it's just, most recently my dad was actually telling me that he's been asking more questions about the Bible. Yeah. And I just praise God for that, because my parents aren't the biggest Bible study givers, but from time to time I'll see my dad going through Bible studies, preparing to give our friend a Bible study.
That's so
and
nice.
So it's been amazing to see, not just the way God's been growing me, but also my family. So it's been awesome.
Wow. Praise God.
It's all praise to God.
Man,
yeah,
that's a big blessing.
Yeah.
It's more blessed to give than receive.
Yeah. No, it is. And it's just amazing, because, a lot of times you think everything has to be so formal. Like, okay, we're going to take you, get Bible studies from this person, but it just can be anything. And it doesn't even have to be like a set Bible study. It can just be like, oh, you have a question, let's answer it, and it's, wow, that's really cool. I like that.
Something that comes to mind, you just said, is bigger blessing to give than to receive. I think God has He's definitely taught me a lot through this ministry. But in my walk with Him, I've learned that even though it can kind of be contradictory, I've known that in order to grow, you need to also be able to give. A big way to grow is to give.
Yeah.
And so through this ministry, in giving time, prayer, Bible studies, and just friendship, He's been able to help me grow as a Christian. And that's been amazing just these past 3 years.
Yeah. I think that's kind of why God put you in that position, so that you can grow with Him.
Yeah. Not only grow with Him from a one-to-one basis, but also with friends and with family.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's actually really nice, because I think sometimes God has little blessings in disguise for us. We think that, it's just kind of like, oh, it's mundane, I'm doing this, but there's a purpose to everything.
Oh yeah,
that He has
definitely.
Yeah.
And it's not only the volunteers reaching the residents there. The residents have also been a huge blessing to us volunteers. It's just so nice seeing, their enthusiasm. And one of the things during prayer time, one of the biggest prayer requests, or most common prayer request, is for their kids. And so, it touches my heart, because it really shows like parental love, and it reminds me of God's parental love for us. And so it's just been really heart touching.
Yeah. I know you had mentioned that there is a specific reason that got you started in doing outreach, and you brought up a verse to you.
Yeah, I remember in my devotional book a few years ago, there was a verse, and it's kind of just stuck with me through the years. It's found in Philippians chapter 1, and then verses 9 through 11.
Philippians chapter 1. And our viewers, please feel free to grab your Bibles as well and turn with us. Philippians 1.
Yes, Philippians 1, and then verses 9 through 11. And I could just go ahead and read that. And this is my prayer, that your love may abound more and more in knowledge and depth of insight, so that you may be able to discern what is best, and may be pure and blameless until the day of Christ, filled with the fruit of righteousness that comes through Jesus Christ, to the glory and praise of God. And so this verse, through the years, has just kind of just been my own prayer as well, that my love, that I will learn to love better the way that, Christ would want me to love others. And through this ministry, because you can't learn to love others if you don't have others.
Yes.
And so through the interaction with the volunteers that I've met, as well as the people who live at the retirement home, it's definitely taught me a lot about consistency and sacrifice. And it's been a good place to grow my character. So that's one of the big reasons I believe God has called me to this ministry and opened this opportunity for me.
I really love this verse, verse 9 that you read, because it says, your love may abound yet more and more in knowledge. And knowledge of what? Knowledge of Christ.
Yeah.
And so I've been loving to hear how you reach others, and you're reaching out to your friends at the retirement home through giving them the word. I think through hymns, many hymns just take scripture from the Bible and put it into song. And doing that for them on God's holy day, special day, and taking the time and putting it aside to show them who He is,
Right.
I think is very special. I believe that is what the Bible calls us to do, and I also believe that nowadays I've heard, maybe knowledge, doctrine, and love are disconnected, are separate, but the Bible actually shows us here that they're one and the same.
Definitely.
I wanted to read Ephesians 3:17 to go along with your verse. Ephesians 3:17 says that Christ may dwell in your hearts by faith, that ye, being rooted and grounded in love. And it goes on. I'll actually read 18 and 19 too. May be able to comprehend with all saints what is the breadth and length and depth and height, and to know the love of Christ, which passeth knowledge, that ye might be filled with all the fullness of God. So it reminded me of the verse that you found.
I love that connection, because it just goes, simply put, it's like the best way to love others is to connect, is to give them the knowledge of Christ's love. And so I like that.
We can't do it without Him.
Exactly.
Also, I don't know what it was that you said, but it just made me think, so often in our lives we think God has forgotten us, that we are living our lives, no one cares what's going on, the troubles that we go through are just largely unknown by people, and we're holding it all inside of us. And you know, when you look at the population of people who are in homes like that, the message or what you get from that is a lot of times that some of these people have been forgotten, sometimes by their family, by society. They're placed there, nobody knows about them. And I think it's so wonderful that you can go and show God's love and the position that God has is that I've never forgotten you. I'm always thinking about you. And I think that's so beautiful and I think they recognize it, which is why they love that you guys come. And it just makes me think of the psalm that I had read this week, Psalms 139. I'm going to read just a couple of verses, but the whole thing is amazing if you guys get a chance to read it. Psalm 139, verse 1, it says, "O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me." And it keeps going. It talks about how God had searched and known, but the fact that he took the time to search and to know, that is a God who, you know, doesn't just love you and that's it. You know, you don't feel understood. And he doesn't just know you and doesn't love you. And then you feel like, well, you know, my greatest fear would be to not be loved. People know who I am inside and doesn't love. But he knows you and he loves you. And if you see this also, if you keep going, in verse 14, I mean, people talk about this all the time. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret, and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eye did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. How precious also are thy thoughts toward me, O God. How great is the sum of them. God thinks these wonderful thoughts towards us, and all of these things were put into existence. We were put into existence. And so, you know, I think they can see that through you. And all the volunteers that come there, when you speak of this love, it's almost unspeakable, because it's like, who can love like that and point towards a God who can? So, I don't know, it just made me think of that.
Just kind of bouncing off of that, like, we only go there once a week for 1 hour. And if that makes a difference to them, how much more sharing the knowledge of a God who thinks about them every day, every second of the day.
Yeah.
And so that's a really powerful thing when you think about it.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your testimony about how you've reached residents. And, you know, it's something that, again, a lot of us don't do, but I think, you know, you'll probably see me again, because I definitely would like to.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think I'll go my first time.
Yeah, it's something that, you know, would be wonderful to share and be a part of. And hopefully others who are listening and who will also be inspired to do that as well. And I would like to thank you all that have listened today for just being a part of God's plan. And I pray that you will be able to give us prayers so that we can bless others. Thank you.